This summer on the Better Belly podcast, I am releasing 2 episodes every week for a summer of double dipping. We already have over 200 amazing podcast episodes, so I am spending some of this time this summer reviewing our best podcast episodes for different categories. Last week, I shared the top 8 gut health myths that we've busted on the Better Belly podcast. If you want to hear that, go check out episode 204. And then today, I'm sharing 10 of my favorite testimonials that we've put on the Better Belly podcast. Through the Better Belly method, we've had women overcome everything from constipation to bloating to acid reflux to chronic fatigue, PCOS, endometriosis, IBS, and fibromyalgia. If you are looking for encouraging, heartwarming, and educational stories on how 10 women overcame it all when their doctor said they couldn't, then this episode is for you. Hey friend, welcome to the Better Belly podcast. If you're currently trying endless supplements, doctor visits, and diet changes to heal your mystery symptoms, you are in the right place. We're here to solve the real root causes behind your gut, hormone, skin, sleep, and brain concerns. Literally anything and everything in your body. My name is Allison Jordan. I'm a functional medicine practitioner that has supported over 150 clients just like you to heal problems that no one has been able to fix. You don't need a perfect diet or a random supplement you found on Instagram to heal. You need a proven system that heals your whole body from the inside out. That's what I'm here to share with you, episode by episode. It's time to make health easy again. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. All right, so for today's episode, just before we jump in, know that every testimonial that I'm going to mention here, I have in the show notes, and I have them numbered. So if, it's number 1, number 2, number 3, you'll be able to notice it. I have them labeled by the name and then a quick little, in parentheses, what the reason I picked them, the reason I found their story interesting. And then, of course, the episode itself will re-say what their key symptoms were that they were struggling with. So if you want to go listen to someone's story who has symptoms like you, then you have a whole list of episodes to go and check out. All right, so the whole purpose of today, because these episodes, none of them, I'm just going to be sharing about why I think they're a top 10, why I love these stories so much. And I just wanted this episode to be a nice directory for listening to more of the testimonials because some of them go pretty way back. Like the very first testimonial on the podcast, that's my very first testimonial I was going to share. This is from my client, Abby, and her testimonial is from episode 13. Way, way, way long ago, episode 13. And Abby was able to drop sugar cravings, lose weight, and get glowing skin, even when nothing else had worked. And let me say, when I say nothing else, she was a ultra marathon runner, and she ate egg white omelets for breakfast, guys. She was so and is still so fit. I have never run more than a marathon's length of running, and that was hard enough, and she has done that many times over. So she had every right to not have extra weight, to have the willpower to overcome sugar cravings, and she was like, guys, this is crazy. And she wanted me to whip her into shape. When we got on our intake call, she's like, Allison, I want you to just keep me accountable and make sure I don't eat sugar. I was like, that's way too hard. You won't even need it. And it was true. It was true. And so you can go listen to her testimonial if you want to know, why did she not need me to whip her into shape? What did we do instead that made it super easy, legit easy? 80% of her sugar cravings reduced in 3 days. I know it sounds crazy, but you can go and listen to why in that episode. My second testimonial that came to mind was actually Abby's episode, part 2, which was a year after we had her on the podcast. I reached out to her and said, hey, can we do a follow-up and talk about how your health has been? Because one of the big things that we hear clients deal with So many people, whether it's, more gut health issues or losing weight, is, oh, after I ended the program, all my weight came back or all my problems came back, my acne came back, whatever you were trying to solve, it comes back. And for hers, it had not. And that's very normal in our program. And so I went and interviewed her and talked about what she'd been doing since then. Did it feel really hard to maintain her stuff? What did she stop doing that we had been doing in the program? And that one is episode 96, How to Permanently Heal Your Gut. That is Abby's testimonial 1 year after working with me. All right. Number 3 is Desi. Desi is a healthy mom, is how I like to think of her. She had 5 kiddos, and she'd been dealing with abdominal pain that literally stopped her from being able to finish making dinner, joint pain and fatigue. And then she lost 10 pounds and literally felt better than she had since having children. And so I love that one because it just gets to the heart of the fact that so many of you listening here are moms, and it's so easy to be in that mom mindset of like, well, I'm a mom, so things are just going to be hard. And yeah, things are hard as a mom, being a mom over here, but it doesn't mean you're just always going to have more weight on your body than you want it to be and you can't get rid of it, or that you're going to be miserable every time you make dinner, or that you won't have energy that lasts all day. Those are red flags, and doctors in the conventional health system just don't have tools to help those problems. So they will say, well, that's normal. Also, because that's like the majority of clients of the patients that doctors are seeing are having those issues. But common doesn't mean normal. And so we helped Desi have the health that she wanted to have, to be with her kids, to enjoy movie nights, to be able to finish making dinner, and be present with her kiddos. So I loved that story. Number four is Jessica. Jessica, I love her story for a couple reasons, but the main reason I picked hers out is because she's one of my hormone stories. We did work with her gut, but the gut is inherently linked to hormones, and hormones was her main focus. When she came to me, she was dealing with endometriosis, PCOS that had been managed very well through eating a keto diet and just at regular exercise, but suddenly it was not being managed. So her PCOS symptoms of thinning hair and weight gain and irritability and greasy skin, all of that was getting significantly worse, even though she was eating the same and working out the same, which was like a red alert to her. So she came in also with brain fog, eczema, irritability, which I guess we mentioned with the PCOS getting worse, and insomnia. And she fixed that all 40% or more in 3 months. And then by 6 months, she was even better. But I loved that just 3-month check-in, because again, most of our clients are going to get the majority of their healing in 3 to 6 months. At the 3-month mark, I usually expect minimum of 50% healing. And when I say 40%, that was her average. So some of these symptoms had healed way more than 40%. Some of them I think were at like 80% improved. Some of them were a little delayed, so it was like 30%. And so between all of those, she was averaging a 40% improvement. But I anticipate for most of our clients 50% improvement in 3 months and 80% in 6 months, if not a little higher. So that's her episode. Hey friend, do you feel like you're never properly digesting anything no matter how you change your diet? Have you spent thousands of dollars buying supplements, labs, and fancy functional or holistic practitioners to simply have no relief from your symptoms? Or do you just want to poop daily, ditch acid reflux, and balance your hormones without being dependent on medications? If so, I've got great news for you. You can stop the money hemorrhage that's happening around your health and finally get worry-free health through the Gut Healer System. The Gut Healer System is my 2.0 upgrade to the former Better Belly method that consistently reduces our clients' symptoms by 80% in 3 to 6 months so that your health can finally feel easy. Our clients have gone from being stuck at home with fibromyalgia to watching their grandchildren's soccer games every evening, or they've been able to travel for work and pleasure without wondering the entire trip if they're going to become constipated and ruin their whole time. We've also seen clients get off of 40 plus years of medications that they've been on for acid reflux, constipation, and PMS, and stay off that medication without needing to be on lifelong extreme diet restrictions or supplements. I want you to be able to enjoy the holidays and family meals without fearing how you're going to feel afterwards or feeling guilty for what you do eat. If you are ready for this, head to betterbellytherapies.com/training to watch my free micro training to learn exactly how 600 plus of my clients have healed their gut even when nothing else has worked before. In this training, you're going to learn what your doctors are missing, even if they're functional or holistic, why no amount of food restrictions are going to heal your gut, the 5-toxin trap that is keeping you sick, how to heal your gut in the most affordable way possible, and the 3 steps to actually heal your gut. I can't wait to see you living a worry-free, optimal, healthy life. Head to betterbellytherapies.com/training to get started today. Now, back to the show. Next is Sharon. I love Sharon's story for 2 reasons. Number 1, she had fibromyalgia, and I've had several fibromyalgia clients that I've worked with, and I love it because I just love the hard cases. Y'all, like, it's boring. I don't know if you're like, oh, you just need to go gluten-free and everything's fixed. Like, job is done. I mean, I'm so glad for somebody if that is all they need. But fibromyalgia is one of those things where like, we don't really know why fibromyalgia happens and best of luck feeling better. And I love fibromyalgia cases. I wasn't planning on sharing this. I have a episode called the IBS Fibromyalgia Connection. Even if you don't have IBS, I would highly recommend listening to it because basically if you have any gut health problems, or even if you don't, and you're kind of like, just know that your gut is very connected to fibromyalgia. And there is a high correlation of comorbidities between IBS and fibromyalgia in the research. So I will include that also underneath her episode in the show notes, so you guys can go check that out. All right, number 6 is Becca. Becca came to me with over a decade of IBS, and that's why I really like her story. She, again, one of those kind of nothing really worked and was always trying to eat healthy. She had weight gain problems, sleep problems, and a lot of chronic fatigue, and we dramatically improved it more than she ever dreamed. And Becca was a friend of mine before we worked together. I mean, she still is a friend. We don't live close to each other anymore, but it was just really great to be able to work on a friend and go from seeing somebody who is really struggling to I've made a difference in their life. So that was really rewarding, and I love her story additionally for that. So that's Becca. That's episode 79. Number 7 is going to be Anitra. Anitra was dealing with constipation. Her episode is episode 117, and 6 years of constipation in 1 month. That is not a lie. Which is why you should go check out the testimonial. It's one of my most listened to testimonial or podcast episodes ever. So it really catches people's eye. I definitely love the story. Anitra is a nurse and single teen mom and a military nurse. So she is buff. She has iron will. And again, I don't think you have to have an iron will to succeed in our program. I'm not suggesting that. But I think that sometimes people think, well, you don't have gut health problems if you can run an ultramarathon, or if you have the willpower to run an ultramarathon, you won't deal with sugar cravings. And we can get a lot of guilt and shame if we're like, feel like we're not physically healthy and fit, or like maybe you work out, but you don't look fit because you have extra weight. And I just want to say, like, you can have extra weight and feel amazing and be very healthy, and you can be fit and trim and muscular and not feel great. And so if you're in either of those camps and you want to hear someone's story on how she ended 6 years of constipation in 1 month, what we were doing, what made the difference, go check out her episode. Number 8 is my client T. I actually threw her in here because she worked with me because she listened to Anitra's episode and was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm dealing with. And she ended a decade of chronic constipation in 1 month too. So her time was the same, 1 month. She had the constipation a little longer than Anitra. And T's just got this super bubbly personality. So if you love super friendly people, love T, go check out her episode. Number 9 is Helene. I love Helene's story because she's one of the older clients that I worked with. And so I think that there can be a bit of, am I too old to heal? Have I been sick too long to heal? All of that like too long stuff. And she's not. No one is. No one is too old to heal. And she specifically felt like she was a digestive nightmare, and she achieved no bloat, no pain, and no constipation in 6 months. So one of my longer healing stories where it really took her 6 months to achieve our goals and her goals, but it happened. And so we even talked about like the mindset work we did to, and even just the things we did to make sure she was headed in the right direction, even though it did take her a little longer to get there. And she did everything right. It wasn't like it took 6 months because she like fell off the bandwagon. She was following the plan. And sometimes it just takes enough of the puzzle pieces to fit together to really get that result you're looking for. So that's episode 130. Number 10 is Rachel. And Rachel I picked because she had only had severe constipation for about 6 months prior to working with me and had it moderately, a couple years prior to that, but it had gotten just a lot worse. And I like that to say it's never too recent of a problem to heal. It's not like, well, I've only had it for 2 months. Like, no, if you've got it, it's not going away. It's different if it's 1 day versus 2 months versus, a year. So, that's episode 100, which was fun. It was a centennial episode. And her episode title is End Bloating, Constipation, and Food Confusion. And that is the testimonial of Rachel. And then I actually did throw in number 11 because I realized this whole list was only a bunch of ladies. And I just thought top 10 testimonials sounded nice. It has the alliteration, TTT. But I realized, we do get men who come into our program. So if you're a dude and you're listening, yes, we do work with men. Eric was one of our testimonials fairly recently, episode 183, and he relieved 30 plus years of constipation, headaches, fatigue, insomnia, and anxiety in 1 week. And also, yes, a true story. So you can see, by the way, we're not like everybody's healing in a super short timeline. There's some variety. Sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 1 week, sometimes it's 1 month. There's a lot of variety, and it just has to do with the cocktail of problems you're dealing with. And so Eric's also super friendly, and he just has this like bubbly, fatherly way of speaking. So if you want to hear a heartwarming testimonial, even if you're not a dude, it's a great listen. I love Eric. So that is it. Those are the 10, plus Eric episodes, 11 testimonial episodes. They are by far not all of our testimonial episodes. We have at least double that. So if you want to listen to even more testimonials, you love encouragement, you love hearing the underdog story where it couldn't get better and then you did, you can get all of our podcast episodes, the testimonials, all of them organized by category in our podcast vault. Go to betterbellytherapies.com/get-the-vault and you can get that vault sent to your email inbox. Just save the link that is sent to you and then it updates automatically. We do it once a month and you can get all the episodes in order by category. So if you have a problem with acid reflux, candida, gut health in general, constipation, bloating, they are all in there by order, hormones, etc. I have a link to that. So if you don't want to type that in, we do have a link in the show notes. So guys, that is it for today's episode. I hope you love digging into all those testimonials. If you want to be the next testimonial, if you want your testimonial to be next, maybe not on the podcast, but just in your own life, you want to be that person who went from can't get better, nothing's working, my doctor said I couldn't get better, to I got better in 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, whatever your timeline's going to be, which you don't know now, but if you want to be that, then go to betterbellytherapies.com/training, watch the free training that I've put together for you so you can see exactly how you can get results like these women in the Better Belly Blueprint. You can just go to betterbellytherapies.com/training or click the link in the show notes to watch the free training. I would love to see you in there, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next week. Hey friend, I hope you loved this episode. If you've been a fan for a while or newly loving this podcast, can you do me a favor? Drop into Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. When you leave a review, you do so much. You help me know you're listening, you can tell me what you're loving so I know what to make more of, and you help others by boosting this podcast so other people like you can find the podcast too. I mean, It's a win-win-win, right? So if you want a way to pay it forward, just go to Apple Podcasts or click the link in my show notes and leave a rating and review. And if you want some more free stuff, just head over to my free Facebook group, betterbellytherapies.com/Facebook, and you can get access to all of my free support for you, including some Facebook group exclusive stuff like my podcast episode vault, where you can search the Better Belly podcast by topic and find exactly what you need to expedite your healing. I cannot wait to see you in there. Catch you guys next week.